Greetings, everybody. My name is Knight, and today I'm going to be talking about Kundalini, but more on the topic of reawakening Kundalini. Um, I had a follower ask me, "Can you reawaken the Kundalini?" was one of their questions. Also, how do you remove any blockages? If there's anything blocking the Kundalini, or either their psychic abilities, how can they reawaken those if it's possible? And they just also wanted to know, is it out of their control, like if it's up to the divine? So how I look at this, right? I'm gonna break this down from my personal experiences, okay, and also what I've seen, and also what I just know, other than what I read, but just what I know personally. Um, yes, to answer the question, short and simple, yes, you can reawaken your Kundalini, but it's case by case for everybody. It's gonna be different. So I give you an example. You might see certain books or certain people out there coaching people on how to do certain things as far as reawakening, you're opening your third eye. But I would always tell people, don't just go straight to the third eye. Work on your root chakra and up. Make sure you're grounded before you even reawaken anything, whether your psychic gift, Kundalini, all that. You want to ground yourself. When I mean by ground yourself, again, making sure you're not being, how can I say, you're not thinking about past thoughts, trauma, anything like that. Anything that is a hindering you, burdens. You want to try to heal as much as that as possible. Again, we're not going to be perfectly healed, but you're going to have enough mental peace in your mind, because when you try to reawaken your Kundalini, uh, especially if you're trying to invoke it and do it yourself through like mantras and meditation, you're going to need peace of mind. You're going to have some type of clarity in your mind. Okay, other than a peaceful environment, you're going to have to again, the foundation. That's what I'm saying. Again, your root chakra, and then also looking at your sacral chakra, everything, because you want to make sure the lower chakras are balanced. Because what happens is you can reawaken your Kundalini, especially again through meditation and things of that nature. But if you awaken it too fast, it can knock your system out of balance, your nervous system. It can also make you have panic attacks and things of that nature. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you got your whole house sage and incense up and all that, and you're just meditating. It will open, but again, your body, your physical body might not be prepared of what the spirit realm is ready to bring to you, to your consciousness from the subconscious. This makes sense, because you could, especially if you like, again, not ready. Panic attacks can lead somebody to the hospital. I've seen it off my personal self. And I'm gonna give you an example. When I first did my Kundalini awakening, right? It was in 2014, right? I just came back from Iraq, right? Because I had a mission out there, because we were doing some things when Iran was pretty much putting mines in the water, and that's another story for another day. But when I was out there, I came back from this deployment, and I was a little stressed and a little anxiety prone, and so I remember when I went to see my doctors, they were like, meditating will help you, have you peace of mind. Now, when they told me meditating, they didn't tell me to do Kundalini, nothing like that. They just told me to meditate. Now, me as a Scorpio, I wanted to find the best meditation for me. And at that time, I wasn't big on the internet. I didn't know much about anything on social media, where to look at, nothing like that. YouTube wasn't as popular, and so I started looking and looking, and I came across Kundalini. Pretty much, it was meditation stating on how to do Kundalini. And so what I did was I started reading up on it, and without just no guidance. And I was living in the desert at that time too. I was living in a city that was only like less than 20,000 people of population. So, and I was out there near Joshua Tree, like literally in the nowhere, middle of nowhere. So I decided to do this meditation, and I did I did all my chakras, right, just like here. And these are the original names for the chakras, and these are, what they say in English. And these are, what you're supposed to say as far as the chants, right? And so what I did was, for each one that I did, I held them at the minimum, at the bare minimum, for 10 minutes. So I like say alam, and so you have to hit the right tone. And then that's just an example. And when I did my root chakra, then I did certain how can I say hand gestures that I needed to do. Okay, all of them. Okay, even like everything, all the hand gestures. And so when I did all the hand gestures and held them for that 10 minutes for each one, right? And sometimes I held certain chants longer than normal, whenever I felt my body wanted to um, release it. So like when my body felt comfortable and I felt the spirit within me, knew that chakra was clear and that meditation was good for that section of my body, I just kept going up and up and up. Okay. And then when I got to the crown, I did my NG, but you gotta say it, you gotta keep doing NG, NG. This is when I was at my crown chakra. I had to keep doing this and doing this. And my eyes were closed and I kept doing this. And then when I hit it, all of a sudden I heard like a firecracker sound in my left ear. It's like pop, pop, pop. And all of a sudden I heard like a high pitched ringing. And it was like kind of like when you go and get your hearing test. It was very high. It went through this ear, then through the other ear. And then everything just cleared up. And this ringing lasted like the whole day, loud. And from that day forward, it's never stopped. So for me, since 2014, since I did my first Kundalini awakening, no matter if I was encountering any other stress after that time frame, the ringing never stopped. And what I mean by that, it never broke. So like even as I'm talking to you, the ringing was still there. So I'm using me as an example because for me, I feel like I was kind of ready for my Kundalini awakening, but I kind of feel like I wasn't, because even though I said that happened, I would say like a couple of days later, I started having like panic attacks and stuff because I was grounded, but not grounded up because I still was dealing with stress that I had dealt with from being on deployment. And this is what I was trying to tell you guys before you go into a meditation or anything like this at all. Even if somebody's trying to help you, try to work on ways to get your mind right. Okay, whether it's meditation to get your root chakra right, or just going to counseling, or just counseling yourself on figuring out, all right, do you have any trauma from the past? Or even if it's not trauma, right, you might have a problem speaking, right? Your throat chakra. Look at every area in your life, even if it's sexual. Look at everything and see what's going on before you just go into it, especially your lower three chakras. Because what happens is when these ringings start happening, you're going to get more closer to spirit more than you already are. Your visions are going to start getting more clear, and you're going to start noticing the spirits around you. And so I can't speak for other people's experiences. I've noticed that a lot of people I've met that say they have Kundalini awakenings, when they do, if they were to hit the earring, for example, it'll ring for like a minute or a second and it'll go away from them, or 5 minutes. My stuff is like all day. When I'm sleeping, I hear them right now. My ears ring. It's all day. It's nonstop. And it's not too high because again, I can talk and I can still hear, but then there's times it gets really high when the spirit comes around. And again, there's been times I've been around toxic people and all that, and then my vibration may shift a little lower, but it will never completely go away because my Kundalini is always there. Now, I do notice that if I decide to do this meditation again, of course, the ring is going to get even higher than what it is now, but it's already at its limits to me. But everybody is different than me, and you're different than me. But again, just to reiterate your question, yes, you can reawaken it, but I'm just telling you to be cautious for anybody out there, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna open my stuff and this is fine. But you gotta remember, like, and then also again, also what you're eating, things in that nature. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't condone anybody really not eating healthy. But when I did mine, right, I wasn't a vegan. So when I was in the military, I was eating what I needed to eat to survive. We have MREs, right, which are packaged meals, and if we're on the field, you don't have time to cook. You're just eating whatever. I'm eating meat and all that, and it didn't stop my gifts. So like when I was born, I already heard spirits, I started hearing them when I was 3. It never stopped. I was eating candy when I was a child and all that. All right, I stayed healthy through working out in the military. So for me, it's not that I'm better than anybody else. It's just how it happened. I know even my niece, she eats candy sometimes and she can sense spirits. It's just how it is. So a lot of this stuff is, I feel like, it's inherited or also a past life, because some of your family members are from the past life. So again, it's going to work case by case. And also, even if you do this meditation and say for some odd reason it doesn't open up, it's possibly past life karma. So like you might have misused your spiritual gifts, and so in this life, your Kundalini, again, is always there, even if you did something bad in your past life, but it's only going to hit a certain peak. So like you might be able to sense spirits and feel energy in an empathic way, but you might not ever see spirits or hear spirits because it's not meant for you. And the Most High, the God, or whatever you believe in, knows that, and you're not going to be able to open it at all. You know, unless you work with some heavy magic and you do a big ritual with somebody to help you pop this thing open, even then you don't know. And if you do open it and you're not supposed to, you might get hit up with more benevolent spirits that are gonna help you, talk to you. And that's how you will get your message, mainly from negative spirits, not really your angels, because you weren't really supposed to open your gift this early. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. See, I'm on my channel. I'm not gonna sit here and like sweet and sugar talk things, because like I've learned through negative, bad spirits and people on what not to do. And like just like this, I'm gonna tell you now. If you want to learn these chakras and mantras, even though I just showed you on my board, you can Google it and all that. But I would be cautious. Don't be careful which mantras you look at. Make sure you're actually looking at the proper names. Excuse my handwriting, but make sure you look for the proper names. And also, I noticed on the crown chakra, some people tell people to say here, other than the third eye being But when I saw it was Unji. It was NG. But then some people say for the crown chakra, which is, that's, everybody, that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful, because when you're an American or European or anybody of the Western community, as far as like Western world, you're thinking that you're getting proper information. You're not, especially when it gets to the crown chakra, and you could possibly be chanting something else, and that could be another reason your stuff's not opening. Okay, because you might be saying the same chant for another chakra. So like you might be saying the chant for the third eye chakra and using that same chant for your crown chakra, which is not good. Okay, so just be aware of that. Because again, I'm noticing that like, because everybody's being awoken right now, I do feel like the powers that be, the government or whoever runs the internet, they're putting false information and even if they have websites, they're showing kind of proper things, but then they're kind of like not telling everybody everything and what really is the Kundalini doing to people. Because okay, again, from my perspective, right, when I did my Kundalini awakening, it didn't just wake me up, guys. It didn't just align my chakras to get me in the right energy. Because even when it's aligning you, it doesn't mean you're not gonna meet negative people that can throw you off. And what happens is, I know for me, like, my visions got so clear. So like, if somebody's doing me wrong, right, like it's like I will get a vision immediately, not even a second. Like, they're gonna tell me, they're gonna warn me about anything. They're gonna warn me about evil spirits, good spirits. It's like that Kundalini is like a guard dog. It's not only did it align me with the source, it's like letting me know of other people's intentions when I don't even want to know about it. It lets me know about like animals, the earth. It's like I feel so intensely. So when I feel these energies, I always got to stay grounded. It doesn't matter. I have to figure out. When I mean by grounded, it doesn't mean I'm just going to like stop doing this video right here and just go meditate. No. It's about coming one with myself and getting my thoughts together. Like this, just like this, silent, like quiet the mind. Because again, if you do this too fast, the Kundalini, it can get kind of chaotic, and then you might start seeing your shadow self more, as far as like aspects of yourself that you don't want to see, like within your visions. And I'm not talking like in the shadow work way. I'm talking like the Kundalini will wake you up to the reality of how people really are. Again, because I'm telling you right now, maybe because I was already seeing spirits before the Kundalini awakening, but like I would notice stuff in people even faster. And then the thing is about it too, is like you have like it's like you mark them. Because I know for me, because I can feel and sense spirits at times, it's like they know you can see them. So now they know my Kundalini is awakened. So it's like sometimes spirits will try to test me more. It's not that I'm protected. They just want to see that how did you open your Kundalini. So again, you got to be open to whatever comes to you. And not just if you're in Europe or America. Again, once your Kundalini awakens, right, and say you start traveling to another country, there's certain spirits that are like very ancient. They're going to know, hey, you got your Kundalini awakened. All right. And again, I'm telling you what I see. Okay. I'm telling you what I know. Again, just reiterating to answer your question here. Yes, you can reawaken it. Again, as far as your blockages, they can be removed. The Kundalini is going to get you in alignment once you, do the work. Again, I would tell you again, really look at yourself and reflect on yourself. If you got any past trauma or just anything that can affect you. Because again, if you open it too soon, it can you're gonna open your Kundalini too fast. And so what's gonna happen is it's gonna sit there and it's gonna be open, but it's gonna put you through things you don't want to be put through too fast. So like if you're not grounded and you're not able to, if you've always been a shy person, right, for example, you're not one to talk in front of people, when you open, and like when the Kundalini opens, you might start having panic attacks, and it's gonna be hard for you to explain to somebody if you're in a clinic, oh, I just popped my Kundalini. they're gonna look what the heck are you talking about? They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get this, it's like it's gonna play out for different people in different ways. But again, yes, you can. And again, as far as blockages, if it's not from this life, sometimes it's from a past life. Like I stated earlier, you might have misused your gifts. So again, a lot of people want to say, "Oh, you can always reopen your gifts." Yeah, but you can understand, everybody has different karma here on Earth. Like, just because you might think you're a loving light person or whatever people think they are here, they can think they're Christian or Luciferian. You can think you whatever. But again, if you misuse your gifts in any type of way in your past life, yes, again, they're there to a certain extent, but they might not be as great as other people around you, and that's something you just gotta accept. So some people can see spirits, they can see spirits. If some people can do Reiki healing, they can do it. But if you can't, it's okay. But you might have a gut reaction, meaning you might be able to sense things through your gut. That's still a gift. You might be very empathic. Be grateful for that gift. It doesn't mean your Kundalini is not awakening just because you're only able to sense people through empathy, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's the life, how your life is. Right? And if you're one of those ones who believe that you chose this life like that, that's what you signed up for. And so that's how it is. And when it's like that, that means that the divine has power over that. Because again, even though you have free will, the divine knows overall you might have misused your gift in your past life, or either you might have chose a life where you're thinking right now that you need this gift, but before you came down on earth, your soul kind of didn't want this gift. Okay, so again, but most of the time, like 95% of the time, most likely it's karma from a past life. And I'm not just about one past life. You had to accumulate this for at least, I'm hearing like 3 to 5 of your most recent past lives to not have certain things open for you. Okay. Yeah, and from my perspective, the people that do have certain things open, it's all for a reason for them to be the example to show people that spirit is real. Because especially living in a world full of religion and people are not open-minded, that there's ghosts out here and demons and stuff. So when people do channel messages, whether they're tarot readers or mediums, from my perspective, other than them, these kind of people are here to help the world and help humanity. Even if they use it in a negative way, they're still here to be an example to show people who are too earthly, or I should say too materialistic, and just thinking they're going to go to church and they think that nothing else exists outside of church. So they're going to have to face the reality of people like me and you, or people who are heavy into the cult, like, hey, this is what life is also about. Okay, so again, was there anything else about that? No, that's pretty much the main question she asked me. Again, guys, just be aware of the chants though, and how you say it, because even if you find a proper how can I say, way of doing things, you gotta hit the tone. You have to have the tone of your voice for a certain amount of time. And even I almost forgot, even if you don't do the meditation, yes, Kundalini can be awakened naturally. I almost forgot to say, yes, it can be awakened naturally, which to me is to a certain extent better. But from my perspective though, even if you hit it naturally, it's something about it. It's not the same though. Like, it's kind of like not the same. It's like, because of the fact that I know this is not the same. I'm trying to even put the words to say this. Like, you can awaken it naturally, but even with that said, it's like you did it. It came to you unexpected, because most time when I see things happen naturally, it's like you just wake up and your ear rings for one moment. Like, you didn't do any meditation. You might have not even tried to eat right. You probably didn't even help anybody. You might just be a teacher who teaches children, but you're just doing regular stuff, and then it just opens. Yeah, it can open like that, but to me, that's not the highest extent of Kundalini power. I would feel like when you reach and go after the source with your own will and meet the God source halfway, it's showing the spirits that, hey, I'm ready for this too as well. The thing about meeting them halfway is being prepared to meet them halfway, as far as like being grounded and being prepared for whatever comes with the Kundalini awakening. Okay, no matter how good or bad it may come, as far as like you might start seeing more shadow aspects of yourself. It's just there to bring balance to your masculine and feminine energy. So it just really depends if you were to go towards opening your Kundalini on your own, whether through meditation or any other outlet. But again, if you work on it naturally, it will be a slower process, because again, the natural way, because all the outside influences from people, it's not getting you there. Because the thing with the chants though, is getting your mind in a certain frequency and the tones. Okay, it's no different if somebody was to and I don't condone this at all, because I never done these, and I never do, I will never will. when people do drugs, right, they try to do drugs to hit a certain heightened state of thought with the spirit world, but to me that's not genuine though, because like even if it's from earth, it's not you though. Like people can smoke plants all day, but it's not you though. So it's like it's not natural. You didn't use your body. You didn't use your energy to get there. You didn't use your mental space to get there. You had to use a crutch. So I mean, I'm not talking down on people do that, but no, that's different. And then you're kind of opening the door though, because it's positive things can come through that, but it's also negative things that can come through with you through that, and you don't know what kind of guide you have, because I keep telling people, we have angels, but everybody has at least one dark spirit that tests you. So like when you take drugs, you might think there's a positive energy talking to you, but it's a darker energy. I'm not gonna say it's really evil, and they can tell you things as well. That's the truth. So that's why I don't really agree with all the drugs and all the people that daydream about stuff. And I'm not saying that, yes, it's valid what they seen, but it's how you did it. I just rather, from my perspective, I think it's better to use your natural body and the chanting through your voices and hitting certain tones to invoke the energy of the Kundalini to awaken through your own voice and tone. And when you speak out, because words are power, the tone, your frequency, your voice hits the atmosphere, it hits the universe, and they can hear it and they come to you. You understand? It's the best thing. So that's how I look at that, okay? But again, it can be natural. And natural is just gonna be you're not even really forcing it. It's just you doing the work, again, trying to be a positive person, maybe even doing some health changes, trying to have a clear mind. And even if you don't do the chants and you just sit in a peaceful area to yourself, it can come, but it's, from my perspective, to me longer, because again, like, it's your environment as well. Because I feel like also what helped me, my environment, I was living in the desert. When I mean desert, I'm talking about coyotes, mountain lions. Like, I was in the middle of nowhere. And even though I'm saying that the city had 20,000 people, it's in the boondocks, it's in nowhere. Like, I'm so far away from the city, I got isolation pay. So when I was in the military, they got this thing called isolation pay, where they have to pay you where you don't have, when you're around environments where there's no food or any like shopping centers and nothing like that. It's like nothing out there. I'm telling you guys, there's dust storms, there's nothing. They practice out there where I worked at when I was in the military, we practiced to go to Afghanistan. I was with the Marines out there. So there's nothing out there. The only closest thing to us was Joshua Tree National Park. So I feel like the environment, because it was so peaceful and not so close to the city, it definitely helped. And also being in the desert, and I feel like at the time that I did it, it really sparked me and helped me out. Because I noticed that, for example, say if I was to try to do these chants in this home, it would work, but I just don't feel like it would have that same intensity and power. Because the environment here is a little bit closer to the city where I live in. I'm in Texas, and it's not the same when I was in the desert over there, right? Or if I was near water, So definitely also look at your environment when you're doing these things. It can enhance you to open it up. So even though the Kundalini is within you, your environment can actually help you, because you don't get with this. Because if your home has drama in it with people that you live with, like that can throw it off too, though. Because your aura at the bare minimum, it's at least 6 feet. For some people, it's bigger than that. So if you're very high vibration, they can be almost 10, 12 feet high. Your aura, okay? So if somebody in your house has a 6 foot aura at the bare minimum, they're intertwining with you. So if you're meditating and you're around that aura, that energy, it can affect you, okay? Saying if you're in an apartment, and if you notice, I just stated that most people, the average, their aura is 6 feet. But most people, if you get a higher state of awareness, it can go up to 10, 12 feet. It can pretty much hit the roof. So say this wall right here, where I'm at right here, I'm sleeping. Now, luckily, I don't have nobody living behind me, but say if I had an apartment and somebody lives next to me and they're sleeping behind this wall, their aura is coming through the wall, so we're intertwining. When I'm sleeping, their energy is felt. And so again, I'm only bringing this up because those energies can affect things when you're trying to have peace or do a reawakening of your Kundalini. So I don't want to make this video too long. I wish you the best. I didn't want to sit here and chant on that, because out of all respect for the Kundalini energy, I don't want to just sit here and meditate and waste people's time for 30 minutes watching me and all that, when you can pretty much look it up, the chants and the hand gestures. I would just let you know again, make sure you are seeing the right chants to say, and say them right. You have to say them correct though. That's another thing. People might say the chant and they're not saying it right. Like, they might see ham and they might say ham, but it's or they might say lamb, they like lam. You gotta say it right, pronunciation. And you gotta hit the tone for a good period of time, especially the crown chakra. When you hit the crown chakra, you definitely gotta hold it at least more than 10 minutes. If you really want it popped open, you have to. If you break any time a thought or break your voice at any time, it's not gonna work at its full extent. And you have to do it over another time. Seriously. And this is all from my personal experience of what I've seen. And I've met people who are into this stuff, who are born into this stuff, and we have different experiences, but this is my experience. And again, to this day, and as I'm speaking to you guys, my ears are ringing every millisecond as I'm talking. I'm telling you the truth. Like, they're ringing right now. When they first rang in 2014, it was annoying. I used to get my ears checked. I didn't know if it was tetanus, and it wasn't, because I passed my tetanus flawless. I never failed the hearing test, and so this ring is literally from Kundalini. Right, and so when I hear other people's stories, I mean, I vibe with them. You know, I understand them. I'm pretty sure they had their Kundalini awakening, but when I hear people say, "Oh, I heard my ear ring when I'm talking to you," but it's not consistent though. That's my thing, and that's something I couldn't figure out. Like, their stuff is not ringing every second though. My stuff is ringing every day, and then I be hearing, like, I can hear frequencies, I can hear spirits coming through, and it's like, whenever I meet somebody else, it's not the same, and that's when we know everybody's in a different path of their evolution with their Kundalini, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, and again though, I gotta reiterate on the crown chakra, because some people are saying when there's some people are like NG, and for what I did was the second part, NG, and I kept holding it, but you know, for each his own, you know, but this is what I heard, and that's what worked for me. Okay, and this is what I know. So just to answer your question again, you can reawaken your Kundalini, definitely. But as far as your gifts being open, just because you open your Kundalini, as far as, like, say if you really want to have, like, again, clairaudience or something like that, it's not a guarantee. You know, you might hear the ringing, but you might not hear a voice or a spirit, or you might not be able to see spirits, but you might be able to feel chills. Okay, they might limit you because, again, possibly karma from your past life, or your family. Your family might not have been your fault. Your family could have misused certain spiritual gifts, and not really in this life, but previous lives. And you know, when you're born, you're just not meant to have that. Again, we're all intuitive, right? Yes, all humans are intuitive. I'm gonna repeat myself, all humans are intuitive. But I've noticed it's only so much though. It's like we have this dormant intuitive energy in us. Again, most humans are always empathic, whether they know it or not. It's just they don't trust themselves. So when you don't trust yourselves, you kind of like, you lessen the power of your gift. You know, so you might not be able to see or hear things, but you kind of feel and know that, hey, this person's wrong. But because you don't want to judge, you lose trust in your own gifts, and so it kind of goes down. You know, even if you're a kid, you might have heard voices before, then you realize it just goes away one day, because, you know, you might have been in a society where they might have feel like you should fear hearing spirits or fearing ghosts or something like that. So now your brain and your thoughts don't want to hear it no more, and it shuts it down. It's not just about what you eat, it shuts it down because of fear and anxiety, and also outside influences from people in your family, maybe religion. Okay, so that's another thing other than eating, because I'm gonna say it again, guys. I became a vegan like 2 years ago, but prior to the vegan stuff, I've always seen spirits. I always heard stuff. So like, even before the Kundalini awakening, I always heard stuff. So it's like, I'm tired of, I can't tell people what to do, but I'm tired of people saying that, oh, you gotta eat right to hear stuff. I'm not gonna lie, yes, eat right. I'm healthy now, you can eat right. But just because you eat right, I know vegans that are not hearing or seeing ghosts. And so what that tells me is the divine is pretty much telling you it's not meant for you. You just gotta accept it. So I only say that so you don't waste money or time trying to get some mentor to get you to open up a gift that might not be meant for you to open up, and then you're losing weight, becoming a vegan, when you might need to be eating meat. And also, I'm gonna make another video for another time where look into your blood type. Certain blood types have certain gifts. I think I made a mention this before. You know, for example, like O blood, it's okay for you to be vegan, but you came from a bloodline of hunter-gatherers. So you can't break the generational curse, or if you want to call it a curse, of eating meat because you're out of old blood. And so what's going to happen is you're going to be malnutrition if you don't eat vegetables, compared to somebody who's B blood, where they don't really need to eat a lot of meat. They might want to eat beef every once in a while, but they'll last a little longer eating vegetables, or at least as far as like with nutrition, compared to a person on old blood. Okay, just like your spiritual gifts, certain blood types are more prone to, if they were allowed themselves to be clairaudient than other blood types. It's true. You can look it up. Look at blood types and what you should eat. You can look it up. Look at the blood types and look what kind of foods you should eat before you just jump into being a vegan. Because everybody wants to run on that vegan thing, but it might not be meant for you. And yes, I love animals. I definitely love animals. As far as nurturing them, I don't want to see animals dying. I don't like animals on farms and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, it's kind of, as humans, you can't really fix everything in your past that was here before us, whether it be slavery, crime, all that, because we live in a world of duality. There's always going to be some type of negative energy. Even animals eat other animals. But what it is humans are not, how can I say, when they hunt or they have farms, they're not doing things in moderation. They're overly taking lives of animals. Does it make sense? And so they're throwing the balance off of the earth. So to me, that's what makes it bad, because, you know, animals, even if we don't eat them, they're going to get eaten by something else. They're just being eaten more at an alarming rate because of humans overly doing things. They're not doing things in moderation. And then also how they're keeping them in these dirty behind farms and bins. Does this make sense? And that's another topic for another day. So again, definitely look into your blood type. Again, because you can be vegan all day, and I'm speaking truth off of me and my family. My mom, she still eats meat, and guess what? She still has premonitions. She doesn't do what I do, and she's a Christian. She doesn't do anything I do. They don't, so a lot of my family don't like what I do, but they still intuitive though. It didn't stop anything. So to me, it's kind of falsified information out there. You can't say that that's gonna not, like, it's gonna block your gift. If anything, not eating healthy would possibly give you a disease maybe later in life, maybe, you know, maybe the cancer or something like that. But if, as far as your gifts, no. But definitely, I would say again, yes, food can give you diabetes and stuff like that. Yes, so it's definitely good to be eating healthy if as long as you're moderating, you know, checking how much food you eat, meat and stuff like that. Okay, because again, just because you vegan does not mean your gifts are gonna open up. I'm sorry, it's not. It might prolong your health, right? It might prolong your health, and even then, you might drive in a car and get hit by a car. And then the person you told not to eat meat, they live in 50 years longer than you. So again, and that's when the divine has the true power. So yes, we have the God source and free will to do something. At the end of the day, it's still the omnipresent source. Whatever you believe in is running everything. Okay? So again, don't let that deter you though, guys. No matter how old you are, 30, 40, 50, 60, you can always reawaken the Kundalini. But again, you're not guaranteed to have certain gifts open up for you. Okay? Especially with psychic gifts. You know, if the divine doesn't want it, that's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to get. And just because you don't get the gifts at the extent that you want them doesn't mean you didn't have a Kundalini awakening. It's just, it's, how can I say? I don't want to say limited, but it's just not at this peak. You might be able to get it in the peak in your next life. I know that might sound sad. This is how it is. Nobody's saying this. So I'm telling you what I see, man. Shit. You know why I say that? I know I have when I was in the Navy, right? I knew this girl, she was Indian, like literally from India, right? They know about this stuff here more than me, but she's never seen a ghost, she's never seen a spirit, she's not even into this, but she had family members to do this, and they didn't have any of this open. So that tells me it doesn't really define because you're a part of a certain culture either. It doesn't mean anything. See what I'm saying? So, and I had to say that too, because some people might be like, oh, it's because of your culture. It has nothing to do with your culture, with this Kundalini. The Kundalini is in everybody. It's just about, like, and you could have been in any religion. You could have been Buddha. You could have been Islam. You could have been Hindu. You could have been Christian. If it's going to open, it's going to open. And if it's going to give you certain gifts, it's going to give you certain gifts. Whatever it's going to do for you at the end of the day. But yeah, you can reawaken it. Right? And same thing with your psychic gifts. If your psychic gifts are meant to open, it's meant to open. If it doesn't open, don't get butthurt about it. It doesn't matter. And I'm only saying this again because I want people to live a free and happy life. Don't restrict yourself because you're seeing certain people on TV telling you to be a certain type of way, and then now you feel bad because, oh, you ate steak today, and now you think your gift's not going to be open. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. Again, it doesn't mean you don't be healthy. So I just say that last a little bit for some reason. And also, again, I want to tell anybody, last 2 minutes, I might make another video on this. Look into numerology as far as your family name. I know everybody knows their life path number, but look into your family name. Like, for example, say if your last name is like Davis, Howard, or whatever, McIvory, look into that because that energy, your family carries that energy. So you might be wondering why your family doesn't connect with other family members in your family that have different names, or the people you date. Look into that. It's called the how can I say, it's the Pythagorean system. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it right. The Pythagorean system. So it's Pythagorien system. So you're gonna look at that up, and it's gonna show you some great things. Like I give you an example. My family is a 9, and most of the time, with the family name of a 9, most people in that family would go to the military, which was wild because guess what? My dad was in the military, and his dad was in the military, right? And also, for example, if your family number is 4, you might notice that your family is very private, conservative, hard workers, but also seen as very awkward to people, as far as like weird, because you guys might do different things compared to regular families. So look into your numbers. It's going to show you a lot. And then if you're trying to marry into a family, you might realize, oh, that's why that didn't happen. You know, get with this. So really check that out. I might make another video on that, but I just want to say that again. I got the name. It's hard to pronounce the name, but again, I'm going to spell it Pythagorien system. Look into that. And that's all I have to say for this video, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, thumbs it up, subscribe, and I wish you guys the best everywhere. Blessed be.